This is Lola Lee T. I make a lot of videos about 90 Day Fiancé, so support me by purchasing a super thanks and also hit that like and subscribe button. Hey everybody, I'm back with a recap and review of 90 Day Fiancé UK Season 1, Episode 7 for me, and maybe Episode 9 for you. It's showing as Episode 7 for me. This episode is called Age is Just a Number. I downloaded the Discovery app just so that I could do the recaps for you guys. Anyway, let's get into the recap. Okay, let's start with Pat and Sam. Finally, we get to learn about this couple. It's about time. Pat is 68 years old. She's a retired nurse and she lives in the UK. She lives on her own. She loves music. She's got a sensible side, but she's also a free spirit. But definitely young at heart. She still feels the same as she did when she was in her 20s. Pat has a 28-year-old boy toy named Sam. He's from Pakistan. They're both nurses. And both are Christian. Religion is very important for both of them. They've been talking for about 20 months now, but they have not met in person. So let's have a look at Sam, shall we? Pat is head over heels for Sam. Look at her. She gets overheated just talking about him. She said that she is his MILF. I would say she is his GILF because she is a grandma. Apparently, they met on Facebook. He sent her a friend request. Then one day, he just called her out of the blue, told her he was attracted to her and that he wanted them to be together. Currently, they communicate every day. He wants to come to the UK, and I guess the rest is history. Honestly, at first, I thought Sam was a catfish, but obviously, after seeing them doing a video call, he is not a catfish. So the plan is Sam will be visiting Pat through the NHS. He will be coming to work as a nurse. She feels she has met the man of her dreams, and it was Sam that first declared his feelings for her. Why is it always the scammer that declares their feelings first? God is very important to Pat. She worships God while waving the flag. She feels that God brought her and Sam together because it happened in such a natural way. It wasn't on a dating app. Religion is also important to Sam. A faithful woman is also important to him too. He has never had a girlfriend until he met Pat. He thinks Pat is so kind, helpful, and lovely. The plan is for Sam to get his UK visa so that he can move to the UK. He's going to live with Pat while working as a nurse. He's always dreamt of moving to the UK. And when he met Pat, she told him that she would support him. Pat says, as his girlfriend, she has supported him financially when he has needed it. The financial support helps him to get to work easier. So she tells us she got him a motorbike. So due to their religion, there will be no sex before marriage, but they will sleep in the same bed. And when things get to be too heated and too much, Sam will just sleep in the chair in the living room. Pat feels that they are both very attracted to each other. She has been married twice before. She has 2 sons from her first marriage. Her sons are not happy about the relationship because they don't understand why a young man would be interested in a woman Pat's age. For this young at heart lady, she says age is just a number. During this scene, Pat meets with her friend Anne. Her friend had no idea about Sam. And during this meeting, she decides that she's going to tell her everything. And she was hoping that her friend would be happy for her. Of course, her friend is shocked at the 40-year age difference and that Sam is younger than her 2 sons. Right away, her friend feels that Sam could be one of those scammers, and she tells her to be careful. Pat admits that in previous relationships, she has missed some red flags, but that there hasn't been any red flags with Sam. She really doesn't care what people think. Well, here are some red flags that I've seen. The 40-year age difference is the biggest red flag. Men on Facebook are constantly messaging older women. Actually, they'll message anybody, and they have ulterior motives. People get scammed on Facebook on a daily basis. Another red flag is the money aspect, that she supports him financially, and he is coming to the UK for a better life. He will be staying with Pat. So will he be contributing financially when he stays with her, or will she be footing the bill? Another thing is that he is a young guy, and culturally, in his culture, the families want them to have children. And of course, Pat cannot have children. Sam is very close to his family, and apparently his family has spoken with Pat before, but he admits that he lied to his family and told them that Pat is only his good friend, not his girlfriend. Why is that, Sam? Pat tells his brother the truth about his relationship with Sam. The brother said that she's really old. Pat admits that he's with her because she's so helpful and encouraging. He also admits that she sends him some money and that she has promised to support him in the future. So the truth is finally surfacing. I see the red flags everywhere. Sam admits that there is no talk of marriage, so he's not really worried about having kids with her. Things are pretty much in the air. So when he goes to the UK, then they will decide what to do. So in my opinion, this is a scam. This is a scam. This is a scam. Sam is a scammer. And all I can think about is poor Pat. She has a rude awakening in store for her. She's under the impression that he doesn't want kids and that they're going to get married and have this fairy tale romance. And Sam is just looking to come to the UK to get a better life for himself. And Pat is just the bridge that he needs to walk over to get where he needs to go. That's how I see it. So Sam and Pat are not the new Jenny and Sumit. Sumit actually loves Jenny. And I just wonder, has Pat not watched 90 Day Fiancé and seen Jenny and Sumit? Has she not seen the hell Jenny has been going through with Sumit and his family? What are your thoughts about Pat and Sam? Let's talk about Kadie and Alejandro. These two are engaged now. They are both so happy. They're both so in love. Alejandro planned a romantic night out in a cabin after the very romantic proposal. Alejandro is amazing, but they still have to decide where they're both going to live. Will they live in the UK or will they live in Mexico? So Alejandro and Kadie arrive at the cabin. Kadie is super grateful and happy with what Alejandro planned. And I think that's part of why she is so loved and is a fan favorite. She is just so super grateful for everything and is always so super positive. She is just a ray of sunshine. They talk about where they're going to live. Kadie feels that they could have a really good start in England because she has a really good job, but Alejandro has no idea what kind of job he can get there, which makes him a little nervous. But I was under the impression that he was some sort of fitness trainer or something like that. And if that's the case, he can work anywhere in the world. And as we know, Alejandro hates the cold in the UK. And if he chooses to live in the UK, goodbye to his family, friends, and job. But Kadie promises Alejandro to give him babies in 4 years. Well, Kadie hit the jackpot with Alejandro because he decided to leave everything behind in Mexico and move to the UK to be with her. Wow, this is a really big deal He will literally be starting off with a clean slate and having to start from scratch and build himself up again with new friends, a new job, culture shock, the cold. This is a big deal, and I'm here for it, and I am super happy for them. And as we know, Kadie couldn't cope with Mexico, her stomach, and she was so comfortable telling Alejandro about her stomach problems. These two are already acting like an old married couple. So it's the next day, and Alejandro and Kadie tell her grandma the big news. Of course, grandma is so happy. Kadie admitted she's now living her grandma's dream, which is Kadie is happy. Kadie got engaged, and she's not moving away from the UK. She's staying in the UK. And now they have to tell Alejandro's parents the news. I think it's going to be a big reaction. His parents are going to be devastated, especially his mom, because what he's doing is pretty life-changing. He's going to another country, and he is super close with his family. A part of me feels that Kadie had no intentions of living in Mexico. She doesn't speak any Spanish, doesn't know anything about the culture, doesn't seem to like the food. I mean, if she had learned a few words of Spanish, that would have really impressed his family. But I think they're really impressed with her anyway. But I think it would have made things a little bit easier. But I do agree that it is better for them to move to the UK. She does have a really good job. They talked about it before, that nurses don't make very much in Mexico. And we still don't know what Alejandro does for a living, which is making me believe that Kadie has the better job, which will definitely give them a better start. But this is very bittersweet because this moment in the car, Kadie and Alejandro are on their way to tell Alejandro's parents the good and the bad news. So they tell the parents the great news about the engagement. Then they told them that they would be moving to the UK. The parents told the producer that they were very sad and worried, but that they know they will look after each other. The parents did tell Kadie and Alejandro that they respect their decision, but you could really tell just how devastated they were, but they were trying to keep that contained. And they did say they were very happy for them, but they would like them to have a Catholic wedding. So will Kadie convert to Alejandro's religion? I guess we're going to have to wait and see. So what are your thoughts on Kadie and Alejandro? Let's talk about Richard and Kathleen. Richard realizes that this is his last chance to make a really good impression on Kathleen's dad. So he decides to take Papa to a sports bar to get him and himself drunk. This is his plan to win him over. Guys' night out, no women were invited. All that I picture in my head are cavemen sitting at a bar, slamming their beer mugs. And it was nice to see that Richard generously offered to cover the costs, and Kathleen tells him to behave. Yeah, right. So they arrive at the bar, and Richard says that there were a lot of lovely ladies in the bar, and he may have overstared in the presence of Papa, but that doesn't mean he's going to leave Kathleen for them, which to me means that Richard has no intentions of stopping his behavior, especially the flirting, which brings us to what Richard tells Kathleen's family while out at the bar, that his intentions are to be part of Kathleen's family. So Papa brings up the sex tourism thing. Richard said it made him feel really awkward. Papa wants to know why he can't live in the Philippines, and he mentions that he has a son and that his happiness is secondary to his son, which is very impressive to hear. Richard also tells Papa that he plans to give Kathleen a really good life in the UK, but he fails to mention that this good life would be her doing all the cooking, cleaning, picking up his socks, and all that great stuff, etc. Great stuff to him. So it looks like Richard won Papa over and now has his blessings. So then we go to another scene, and it's the last night for Kathleen and Richard to spend time together, and they discuss their future and what their life will be like. During the sit down, Kathleen confronts Richard about their big issue. After his last visit, Richard found someone else, and Richard now reassures Kathleen that it will not happen again because nobody else in the world makes him feel the way she does. She makes him very happy. Kathleen is the one. So the plan is Kathleen is going to come to the UK. They're going to get married and they're going to have a great life. So Kathleen knows that she cannot control what Richard does when she's not around, and just hoping that it will not happen is all that she could really do. Their relationship is not perfect, but what they do have for them is great communication. That's what I think, that their relationship is not perfect, but what they do have is great communication. Kathleen doesn't seem to have a problem telling Richard how she feels. So one thing that I've been thinking about, so I will not be surprised when Kathleen comes to the UK, when and if she decides that she wants to revise their agreement about the cooking, the cleaning, and the and the taking care of him. How is that going to go down, and how is that going to work? So what are your thoughts about Richard and Kathleen? Let's talk about Calum and Marvin. Calum is nervous and excited. He's going to be meeting Marvin for the first time in person, and he will be spending 2 weeks. During those 2 weeks, they're going to see if the relationship works. He's going to find out if Marvin is the one. In that short 2-week span, Calum's mom said she's very nervous. She's actually more nervous than him. And like I said before, I really, really, really like Calum's mom. She's not sure what Marvin's intentions are for her son. Calum's mom is worried that Marvin may just want to come to the UK because he wants to live in a different place. And maybe he is using her son to do so. And Calum is pretty headstrong. He's going to do what he wants regardless of what his friends think or what his mom thinks. He really just wants to prove everyone wrong. So we see Calum is at the airport waiting for Marvin. He's visibly shaking. Marvin's taking forever to come through those doors. I mean, this is so intense to watch. Then Calum receives a message from Marvin that he was stopped by Border Patrol. Then finally we see Marvin with his bags. They have this beautiful moment. And I could actually feel the love through my computer screen. Calum was so relieved that Marvin was not a catfish. Even though he was doing video calls with him, he still had that thought in the back of his head. Marvin said he couldn't stop looking at Calum. He was so beautiful. These two are in love, and I think this is the real deal. I think Marvin's intentions are pure. That is what I'm feeling at this moment. Calum's mom has nothing to worry about, but I still agree with her that they should slow down. So the first thing that Calum does is he brings Marvin to meet his mom, which I absolutely love, love, love. But this also shows us that even though Calum says that he has the final decision, he still does care what his mom thinks. And that both Marvin and his mom are very important to him. And I mean that he could have booked a hotel for the first 2 to 3 nights just for them to have that alone time. But he didn't do that. He brought Marvin to his mom right away. And both of them realize that it's important for Marvin and Calum's mom to get along. Mama Bear is going to be watching to see how they are together, but realize that it is the honeymoon phase, so everybody is going to be showing their best. She doesn't want him to get swept away, but I really think that the 2 weeks is not enough. And I think that Calum was already swept away at the airport. I mean, he is gone. I loved how they showed us the 48 hours before Marvin came to visit, what that was like for him. Marvin meets up with his friends. He said that they know he's alone and realize how important their support is regarding his relationship with Calum. Marvin tells his friends that he plans to propose to Calum And one of his friends thinks that it's some sort of love at first sight, love at first online sight, and they wonder if he is not scared. But Marvin said that he's quite confident with this one. He is very sure that Calum is the one, and he doesn't see the point of waiting. Waiting means you're unsure. Marriage is something he's always wanted. And I wonder if marriage is something he's always wanted because it's not legal where he is and that he's been so closeted. And as human nature kind of thing, we always want what we can't have. Marvin said he wants to marry him and it has to happen. He doesn't think that you have to be engaged for a year. There doesn't have to be any plans or time constraints. But what concerns me is he said he's confident with this one. And I wish he had talked more about the other ones that didn't work out and also told us why they didn't work out. Was it because he was in such a rush to get married? Because, Marvin is in a rush. He is in a rush. What is the rush, Marvin? But look at Calum in this picture here. He looks so happy. He is completely swept away already. So Calum takes Marvin to meet his friend Becky. Marvin shares a bit about his family, that they're not supportive of him being gay. He loves how Calum's family is so supportive. Then he starts talking about having children and needing the family support. Wow, things are moving super fast. These two are already talking about their own family. So having his own family is very important to Marvin, but I just wonder if this is something that Calum wants, or is it just something he's going along with because this is something that Marvin wants? And Becky actually confirmed my fears because she said that Calum is not really interested in having his own family, but Calum says he sees this as a compromise. But this is a big deal because having your own family is not a compromise. It's something that you enter into as something that you really want or you don't really want. It's not something that you just go along with to please your partner, because ultimately this will build resentment. So I really do hope that this is something that Calum really wants. And it seems that Calum never really wanted marriage until he met Marvin. This is according to Becky. So I'm wondering, what spell did Marvin cast on Calum? I think Calum is really swept away right now in the romance. And I agree with Becky. I don't think that Marvin is a bad guy. I think he's a really nice guy. I think their love is genuine, but they both need to take a breath and slow down. But you know what? Calum doesn't want to hear it. So what are your thoughts on Calum and Marvin? So that is the recap, guys. What are your thoughts on all the couples? Thank you so very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Message me on Instagram if you have any hot tea for me. I love you guys. Bye.